Have you ever reread a book from your past?
Absolutely, revisiting old books is like meeting an old friend. It triggers memories and new insights.
Does rereading change your perspective?
Definitely, with time, our experiences and outlooks evolve. We notice themes and details we missed before.
Does nostalgia play a role?
Nostalgia hits hard. Rereading connects us to our younger selves and the emotions we felt back then.
So, it's like time travel?
In a way, books have the power to transport us to different times and mental states.
How about changing interpretations?
Books have layers. What resonated as a child might reveal deeper meanings as an adult.
Can rereading help us grow?
Absolutely, as we change, books remain constant. Rereading shows our progress and offers fresh lessons.
What if you didn't like the book before?
It's interesting. Sometimes disliked books become favorites upon rereading due to changed perspectives.
Can rereading become a habit?
Definitely, it's like visiting familiar places. Comforting and enlightening.
Does technology change rereading?
E-books and audiobooks provide convenience, but physical books evoke nostalgia and tangibility.
How about series or sequels?
They provide a sense of continuity. Rereading earlier books enriches the experience of new ones.
Can rereading be overdone?
It's a balance. Rereading can enhance appreciation, but discovering new books is vital too.
What about childhood favorites?
Rereading them is like reconnecting with a part of ourselves we thought we'd lost.
Do you reread differently?
Definitely. As an adult, I analyze themes and symbolism, while as a child, I focused on the story.
Does rereading reveal an author's craft?
Absolutely, it unveils nuances in writing style and storytelling techniques.
Can rereading be surprising?
Very much. Books can change meaning based on where you are in life.
What about emotional impact?
Rereading can trigger forgotten emotions, allowing us to relive moments through characters' experiences.
Can rereading be meditative?
Indeed, it's like a literary meditation, offering introspection and calm.
Does rereading ruin initial impressions?
Not necessarily. The first encounter is special, but subsequent readings reveal more layers.
Can rereading strengthen memories?
Absolutely, certain books become intertwined with personal memories, reinforcing the emotional connection.
Do you annotate when rereading?
Sometimes, notes from different readings create a timeline of my evolving thoughts.
Can rereading be like a reunion?
Definitely, characters become old friends you're excited to meet again.
Can rereading break reading slumps?
Yes, revisiting a loved book can reignite the reading spark.
Does the physical condition of a book matter?
Yes, it can evoke memories of where and when you read it. A worn book tells its own story.
How about revisiting childhood classics?
It's magical, like finding forgotten treasure. Childhood books hold a special place in our hearts.
Can rereading be communal?
Absolutely. Discussing reread books with others reveals new perspectives and shared memories.
What's your most reread book?
To Kill a Mockingbird. It's like a timeless wisdom well.
Does rereading ever disappoint?
Occasionally, tastes change. But even that is a marker of personal growth.
What's the best thing about rereading?
It's a journey within a journey. Each reread adds depth to our understanding of the world and ourselves.
Can rereading be a lifelong habit?
Definitely, rereading is a way to keep our past, present, and future selves connected through words.
Have you ever thought about how reading affects our thinking abilities?
Absolutely, reading is like mental exercise. It sharpens our minds and boosts cognitive development.
Right, and it goes beyond just acquiring information.
Exactly, reading challenges our brains. It enhances critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
So, reading isn't just about absorbing facts?
No, it's about engaging with ideas, analyzing plots, and connecting information.
And this applies to all types of reading?
Different genres contribute differently. Fiction builds empathy and imagination, while nonfiction hones analytical skills.
Interesting. How does fiction improve critical thinking?
Well, fiction requires us to infer motives and predict outcomes. We analyze characters' decisions and their consequences.
And nonfiction?
Nonfiction exposes us to new ideas and challenges preconceptions. We evaluate arguments and evidence.
How about language acquisition?
Reading exposes us to diverse vocabulary and sentence structures, aiding language development.
Does the complexity of the writing matter?
Yes, more complex texts challenge us, expanding our language skills.
So, reading isn't just about enjoying a story.
Enjoyment and cognitive growth go hand in hand. Engaging texts stimulate our minds.
Does the style of writing matter too?
Absolutely. Different styles enhance different skills. Poetry, for example, refines our sense of language and rhythm.
How about problem-solving skills?
Reading mysteries and puzzles engages our minds in deciphering clues and anticipating outcomes.
What about scientific texts?
They develop analytical thinking. We assess data, draw conclusions, and understand complex concepts.
So, reading shapes our minds in many ways.
Definitely, it's like a mental gym. We stretch our cognitive abilities with each page.
But does reading translate into real-world skills?
Absolutely, the skills honed through reading apply to decision-making and tackling challenges.
Can reading also boost creativity?
Certainly, fiction's imaginative worlds inspire us to think beyond boundaries. We create mental images from descriptions.
How about historical texts?
They improve our understanding of context and causality. We connect past events to current situations.
What about different media like ebooks or audiobooks?
They offer convenience, but studies suggest physical books enhance comprehension and retention.
So, the format matters too?
Yes, physical books engage multiple senses. Turning pages and feeling paper aid memory.
Interesting. Can children's books help cognitive development?
Definitely, they lay the foundation for language acquisition and critical thinking. They also spark curiosity.
And graphic novels?
They combine visual and textual information, enhancing visual literacy and analytical thinking.
Is there an age limit to these cognitive benefits?
No, from childhood to old age, reading keeps our minds active and adaptable.
It's like a lifelong learning tool.
Absolutely, it keeps us mentally agile and curious about the world.
Can reading reduce stress too?
Yes, getting lost in a book can provide an escape from everyday worries.
That's a bonus. So, reading isn't just education, it's holistic growth.
Exactly, it shapes our intellect, emotions, and even our perspective on life.
So, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, or poetry, every genre has its own benefits.
Precisely. The key is to explore various styles and keep our minds engaged.
Have you ever thought about how technology might change reading in the future?
Absolutely, the digital age is reshaping everything. Virtual reality and interactive storytelling could revolutionize reading.
Virtual reality? How would that work?
Imagine stepping into a book's world. With VR, you could visually explore settings and interact with characters.
Sounds immersive. But what about the traditional reading experience?
It might evolve. VR could enhance it, adding visual and sensory layers to the narrative.
But wouldn't that change our imagination?
True, there's a balance. VR could support imagination, not replace it.
What about interactive storytelling?
It's like choose your own adventure, but more advanced. Readers could influence the plot's direction.
So, readers become co-authors?
In a way, it makes reading more participatory and personalized.
Would this lead to shorter attention spans?
It's a concern. Interaction might shift focus from deep reading to quick choices.
What about e-books?
They're here to stay. But interactive elements could make them more engaging.
And audiobooks?
They're popular for multitasking. With VR, they might become more immersive, like theater experiences.
Would this affect printed books?
They might become niche, but some will always love the tactile feel of physical books.
Could this improve literacy rates?
Interactive and visual elements might engage reluctant readers, improving literacy.
How about accessibility?
Technology can aid people with disabilities, making literature more inclusive.
But wouldn't this favor tech-savvy generations?
True, but technology adoption could become more universal over time.
Any downsides?
Privacy concerns. Interactive platforms might collect personal data.
And the loss of traditional storytelling?
It's a risk. We must ensure technology enhances, not erases, our rich storytelling history.
Would authors need new skills?
Definitely, they'd need to master interactive and visual storytelling techniques.
Could this lead to more diverse stories?
Absolutely, technology could amplify diverse voices and perspectives.
How about the feel of finishing a physical book?
Ebooks might replicate that satisfaction, but some will miss the heft of a completed book.
What about book clubs?
They could become virtual, connecting readers globally through VR discussions.
And libraries?
Libraries might offer VR stations, expanding their role beyond lending books.
Can technology capture the magic of reading?
It's possible. VR could recreate the feeling of getting lost in a book's world.
Could this bring back the joy of reading for reluctant readers?
Hopefully, interactive and visual elements could captivate them.
But could this disconnect us from the real world?
That's a concern. Balance is key. Technology should complement, not replace, real experiences.
Would this democratize publishing?
Ebooks and self-publishing already started that trend. Technology could further level the playing field.
What about the solitude of reading?
VR could create virtual reading spaces, maintaining solitude while connecting readers worldwide.
Will traditionalists resist these changes?
Change is always met with resistance. But evolution is inevitable.
Can these changes bring generations together?
Technology bridges gaps. Grandparents and grandchildren could discuss books in virtual spaces.
Would this blur the lines between books and video games?
It's possible. The challenge is to keep the essence of storytelling intact.
How do you see the future of reading personally?
I'm excited about the possibilities, but hope the core joy of reading remains unchanged.
So, the future of reading is both exciting and uncertain. Have you ever thought about the relationship between authors and readers?
Absolutely, it's a fascinating dynamic. Authors create, but readers bring their own experiences and perspectives to the table.
So, readers don't just passively consume?
No, they actively interpret and engage with the text. Their backgrounds shape how they understand a story.
Does this affect the author's intent?
Definitely. Authors convey messages, but readers filter them through their own lens.
Can this lead to misunderstandings?
Sometimes, readers might interpret differently, but that's the beauty. Diverse readings enrich a work's meaning.
So, readers become co-creators?
In a way, their interpretations complete the creative circle. A book's full meaning emerges through this interplay.
What about an author's control?
Authors guide, but they can't dictate how readers perceive. Each reader brings a unique perspective.
Does this mean there's no fixed meaning to a text?
Exactly, a single text can generate multiple valid interpretations, all influenced by readers' backgrounds.
Can this be frustrating for authors?
At times, especially if readers miss the intended message. But it's also an opportunity for discussion.
Like a dialogue between author and reader?
Yes, readers' responses spark conversations that wouldn't happen if everyone read the same way.
So, does an author's intent matter less?
Not less, but it shares the stage with readers' interpretations. The dialogue enhances the literary experience.
Does this happen only with literature?
No, any art form invites interpretation. But literature, with its words, allows for deeper exploration.
Can readers' backgrounds change the story?
Definitely, personal experiences shape how readers connect with characters and themes.
Can a reader miss the author's message completely?
It's possible, especially if their perspective differs vastly from the author's. But that's the nature of open interpretation.
How do book clubs fit into this?
Book clubs thrive on diverse readings. Discussions highlight various viewpoints and enrich understanding.
What about cultural differences?
Cultural nuances affect interpretation. A story understood in one culture might have a different meaning in another.
So, global readers bring global perspectives?
Exactly, this enriches literature's cultural tapestry and broadens its impact.
Can readers' emotional connections influence interpretation?
Definitely, personal emotions resonate with characters' struggles. Readers relate based on their own joys and sorrows.
How does this dynamic affect the literary landscape?
It diversifies it. A single work can resonate differently across ages, cultures, and societies.
Can readers' interpretations reshape an author's next work?
Absolutely, the audience's reception influences an author's choices and themes in future works.
So, it's a two-way street.
Precisely, authors influence readers, but readers influence authors too.
How does this dynamic evolve in the digital age?
The internet connects authors and readers globally. Discussions, blogs, and reviews create a virtual literary salon.
Does social media amplify this interaction?
Definitely, it's like an ongoing conversation. Authors hear directly from readers, shaping their creative journeys.
Can this interaction also challenge societal norms?
Absolutely, literature has sparked social change. Readers' discussions can ignite critical conversations about society.
So, reading isn't just a solitary act.
No, it's a communal experience, connecting people through shared stories and perspectives.
How can authors benefit from this dynamic?
Feedback guides growth. Constructive criticism helps authors refine their storytelling and connect better with readers.
What about negative feedback?
It's part of the process. Authors learn from it and it fosters humility.
Summing up, readers complete the author's work?
In a sense, yes. Authors provide the canvas, readers add the colors and shades.
And this collaborative process shapes literature's soul.
Absolutely, it makes literature a living, evolving entity.
It's amazing how a simple book becomes a catalyst for such complex interactions.
True, the magic of literature lies in its power to unite minds and hearts across time and space.
Have you ever thought about censorship in literature?
Definitely, it's a complex issue. Balancing freedom of expression and protecting sensitive topics is challenging.
True, but isn't censoring literature a violation of artistic freedom?
It's a fine line. Some argue it's necessary to shield certain groups, especially children, from harmful content.
But doesn't censoring limit diverse voices?
Yes, it can silence marginalized perspectives and impede a society's growth.
Are there famous cases of banned books?
Absolutely. Classics like 1984 and The Catcher in the Rye faced bans due to political or moral concerns.
What about controversial topics?
Books dealing with sexuality, race, religion, and politics often face challenges.
Can banning a book really prevent its influence?
Not necessarily. Banning often amplifies curiosity, making people more interested in reading the forbidden.
So, is banning counterproductive?
In many cases, yes. It can backfire and draw more attention to the content.
But what about age-appropriate content?
That's where labeling and parental guidance come in. It's important to help readers make informed choices.
But who decides what's appropriate?
That's the tricky part. It's subjective and varies across cultures and individuals.
What about preserving cultural values?
Culture shapes norms, but stifling opposing viewpoints hinders cultural growth and understanding.
Is there a middle ground?
Some suggest content warnings instead of outright bans. This respects choice while providing information.
Can fiction influence society?
Absolutely, literature reflects and shapes society's beliefs. Banning certain ideas limits progress.
Are there cases where censorship is justified?
In extreme cases, like hate speech, where harm is imminent. But it's a slippery slope.
Can censorship protect vulnerable readers?
It's a concern, but education and open dialogues might be better solutions than outright bans.
Can censorship vary over time?
Definitely, what's deemed controversial today might be accepted tomorrow.
How about self-censorship by authors?
Authors might adjust content to reach broader audiences or avoid backlash. It's a personal choice.
Does censorship affect creativity?
It can stifle creativity. Fear of controversy might deter authors from exploring meaningful topics.
Can technology change censorship?
Yes, the internet spreads ideas globally, challenging local restrictions.
Should books carry disclaimers?
They can help readers navigate content, but it's crucial to avoid restricting access based on vague concerns.
Can readers make their own decisions?
Absolutely, readers are capable of deciding what they're comfortable with. Labels empower them to choose.
What about school curricula?
It's a hot topic. Some argue curricula should reflect diverse perspectives, while others seek to protect specific values.
Can censorship lead to erasing history?
It's a risk. Removing controversial content might whitewash history and prevent learning from past mistakes.
How about the responsibility of authors?
Authors have a duty to present diverse viewpoints responsibly, but also to challenge the status quo.
Should authors consider potential backlash?
It's a complex decision. Some feel compelled to address important issues despite potential backlash.
Is there a global consensus on censorship?
No, opinions vary widely based on cultural, political, and moral factors.
How can we promote free expression?
By fostering open discussions, encouraging critical thinking, and respecting diverse viewpoints.
So, it's about finding common ground?
Exactly, respecting individual rights while safeguarding collective well-being.
It's a balancing act.
Indeed, and an ongoing conversation to ensure both artistic freedom and responsible discourse.